Hey there! This is projects are for the 5th and 6th grade kids. This is Mr. King telling you for week 3 that we are about to make, I think, a really fun and very easy project. What I would like you to do for this project is to focus on one single part of the face, because I think it'll be a lot of fun to focus in. And imagine that you're just like zoomed way in. What I want to do is I want to focus on the mouth. And what I'd like to do too is that since it is coming up in that creepy time of year, we are going to focus in, have a lot of freedom in what we create, but I want you to make a mouth of a person or a creature. But I'd love if you made that creepy or strange or weird. And so this would be a project in which I would probably actually pull up a bunch of different kinds of mouths from animals and to show different kinds of teeth and all the detail and how really intricate it is. And kind of the point is that I'm trying to teach the kids about heavy detail and lots of tricks to create more texture and to create kind of more visual interest in something that seems very simple, so that you don't spend a lot of time on one area and then gloss over another. And I feel like mouths, when we're working with them in art, are such a kind of scary thing for kids. Sometimes they just breeze right over them. But here's the cool thing. It doesn't need to look really realistic at all. We can be really cartoony about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the shape of our mouth. So if you're doing a creepy one, go right ahead and make it a creepy smile, make it a frown, make it like a scream. The one thing I don't want to see is just a totally simplified shape like a straight oval. So, sorry, ignore the bell right there. They're dismissing buses while I'm showing you guys this. So I'm going to do a really creepy smile for mine. So I'm going to go all the way across my paper. Now, it is not a problem that it is a little uneven here and asymmetrical. I actually like that because the asymmetry makes it look like a crooked smile, and that's precisely what we're going for. So we're going to make another looping circle up here at the top. And the fun thing is, once you get done with this, you're going to add lots and lots of details to just make this extra creepy. So the next thing you want to try to figure out is what kind of mouth you've got. This is obviously very human-like. Most animals can't articulate a smile with their mouths. So we are going to focus in just the next couple seconds here on the teeth. And so I do have an ultra fine point Sharpie for some detail work I'm going to do in a little bit, but I'm going to start and stick with my fine point for now. So I'm going to make this really weird, because what this guy's going to have, or what this creature is going to have, is teeth that are not right. I am going to give him those two big front teeth right here and kind of that smaller tooth next to it, but some of the other teeth are going to be like broken, jagged, or just, the wrong way. And it's funny because without really realizing it, you're going to, be like, oh, that is not right. So we'll continue on to make our rows of teeth. Sometimes doing really simple things like just making the teeth too small and too many of them can just be off-putting and creepy. So let's do this. Let's make some real jagged ones down here with some nice gaps between them, because that'll look nice and awful dental hygiene. If you are a dental hygienist in the parental group here, oh, and by the way, usually when you have the bottom lip curve up like that on the side, your teeth would be obscured by the lip. But if the teeth follow the shape of the lip, again, it's just more off-putting. And we're looking for creepy and off-putting for this project. I want scary, creepy, spooky smiles, or frowns, or screaming mouths. It's up to you. So there it is so far. There's my really creepy smile. And there's lots of cool details that I can add to this. One thing is that I can do kind of like the back of the throat. I can even do like the uvula, which is the little dangly thing that hangs down in the back of the throat. I can do the tongue sticking up if I want to a little bit by making two kind of like mounds back here. So I got to kind of decide what things are important. So let's do a tongue. We're going to do one little bump right here and a bump coming across right there. And we will do the back of the throat with the uvula. And the cool thing is, if you even put your tongue in the entire mouth and you feel, you've got all these little ridges. So you can actually create those ridges going out in concentric arcs right here to kind of show that texture of the inside of the mouth. And that becomes creepy. Again, this is cartoony. This is not hyper realistic here. And the reason being that I don't want to spend forever on reference images trying to get this just right. This is an art project for a class in the 5th and 6th grade, so it's not something that is going to be, I'm not super troubled by if it's not perfect. So I am going to darken in the very back of the throat because that is going to be the darkest point in my drawing here. There will be other dark areas that I use, but I'm not going to use my marker for that. And then I'm going to think about too, like, do I want like a big old hole in one of the teeth? So I might even like knock a hole in the side of this tooth right here. And then let's put a hole like in the center, like a huge, awful cavity. And that tooth right there. Put one more cavity over here. And is that enough cavities? No, it's not. Let's do another one. So we get these giant, huge, oversized cavities. They don't look right now because they just look like dots, like polka dots that are on our teeth. To make them look a lot more realistic and more interesting, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add another curved line underneath the one that's there. And that's going to make it look like the thickness of the tooth. Okay? So curved line, boom. And the thing is that when I do it here, I have to do the exact same curve up over here because the perspective I have on this tooth is the same as this one. I'm looking at an upward angle of the tooth to see that thickness here. I have to do it over here in a similar way. And then on this side, exact same thing. And boom, now you've got that unifying feeling of looking up at that angle, and now they really do feel like holes going through the teeth. The other kind of fun thing you look at is this little hole in the side of this tooth. You might want to make one more line right there to show the side of this tooth right there. Okay, so now I'm actually going to switch over to my ultra fine point and I'm going to start working on some of the detail work. So this is where I'm going to add those little ridges that are in the bottom of our teeth, because our teeth aren't actually flat on the bottom. They've got like, I don't know, they're serrated. That's the best way I can describe it. They've got little ridges and they make the teeth almost come to a point. So we're going to add that as much as we can with our ultra fine point by making these little black triangles at the bottom of the tooth. I don't have to do it for every single one. I probably would, but I'm on the video here and I don't want you guys to wait for me to do that. So that's a really nice texture to the bottom of the teeth to make them look a lot more realistic. Well, I would also really suggest you think about doing textures for things like the tongue here. So let's add the taste buds on there. You don't have to do the whole tongue, but you make these little tiny curved lines. Show those little bumps of the taste buds. And all these textures just add to the kind of grossness of the whole inside of like a gross mouth like this. It's just really, honestly, I find this to be really fun. Some of your parents are probably like, what is he doing? That's nasty, but I love it. At the edge of my cavity right here, what if I actually have a line that splinters off and I kind of do like little lightning bolt effects, and what that ends up doing is obviously you've got nice cracks in your teeth coming off those cavities. So let's have a crack, actually watch this, you can have it connect down to like one of those ridges at the bottom of the teeth and let those lightning bolt pieces go completely off, and there's a crack that is obviously a really troublesome one where the tooth might actually fall apart over there. But it's cool, because fault lines like that really would kind of look for the edges of whatever they're on. So we can add a couple of nice cracks here. You can find corners of teeth you want to add a couple cracks to too. Again, we want this tooth or this mouth to be as absolutely creepy and horrible as possible. Okay, so not just the inside of the mouth too. No, by the way, I could even add, since I've got my ultra fine point, I could go in here and add some details to like the roof of the mouth here where the ridges are a little thinner in some lines here. And that just, it's a little more visually interesting to look at that point. All right. And then the other thing I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to remember to work outside of the mouth right here to make it creepy. So what I mean by that is let's extend kind of the cracks of the edges of the mouth up here. Let's have these kind of, I'm going to give it really thin lips. So I'm not doing complete lines here. I'm implying my lines so the lips kind of disappear into whatever fleshiness is outside of it. I mean, it's becoming more and more off-putting as I create this. And then you want something kind of more human-like right here. Watch this. What if we do like a little bit of that labrae? Not the labrae, excuse me. I used to know what this was called, that part of the lip where the lips join together at the top and make that kind of M shape. The labrae is down here. I apologize. My anatomy, it suffers. I haven't taken anatomy in art for so many years. It's not as good. So I'm applying the lines by kind of getting the dotted lines going around. But then the fun thing is then I can add more lines. They become these horrible wrinkles, kind of carry down across the face. I can space them differently, filling in the gaps between. And you're just letting it like evolve. And I can tell you, if you're consistent about the kinds of things you do, like these weird wrinkles and stuff, then it's gonna be creepy. Sorry about the bell, guys. So, okay, now my mouth is getting really weird. I'm loving it. I'd also think about doing some texture for the lips, so let's bring these lines going a different direction. And then the last step that you're gonna take with this is to add some color. So I would say colored pencil or watercolor paint is by far the best thing you can use for this. That's why I do suggest you find some cardstock if you're gonna do the watercolor, or any sort of kind of toothy paper. Even, I mean, computer paper will work if you need to, but something that takes a little bit will work really well for the colored pencil. And that's basically what's gonna happen right here. So I will likely speed up the video from here out so we don't waste too much time because I don't wanna go past that 15-minute mark. I love watercolor pencils. If you have these and can get these Prismacolors are actually pretty affordable. Again, Amazon buy. And they're great because then you don't have to worry about oversaturating your paper as much because you put the color down in advance and then add little bits of water afterwards. Our kids really know how to use these well. So if you're a parent, you're wondering about that. These are solid art investment as watercolor pencils. Derwent makes really awesome Inktense pencils, but they're expensive. So I love these because they're a lot more affordable. And all I do is take my brush, take a little bit of water. Any brush will do, doesn't need to be any super special brush. And you can see that that just turns that watercolor from kind of that colored pencil material right back into paint. And that is nice. So then you can kind of add layer upon layer. You just gotta wait for stuff to dry between if you wanna go with another layer over the same spot once you get it wet. So I do suggest you do basically all the colored pencil you want. Use a light hand and don't like mash the pencils in, and you will have a lot more luck, I feel like, of making these. So I'm not even being that careful because the lines they're already done in marker, so I'm not gonna push them around. A lot of bells in this video now. And that's it, guys. You're gonna keep going and making your mouth as creepy as humanly possible, and you can tell it's already off-putting. I kind of like that just leaving it white here because it's awful pale mouth. I would think about doing a color for the teeth. Obviously, it would be extremely troubling if your teeth had some nice bit of yellow to them and you did push the yellow a little bit darker around the edges of the teeth. I think that would really make these really gross in a positive way. So I'll give you an idea with one tooth. If you do it just around the edges, it helps kind of create that feeling that the stains have encroached upon the edge of your tooth there. So you see how it's like brighter in the center and then get yellowing on the outside of the tooth. So create your art, have some fun with it. Sorry this video is a little bit long and droning, but you know, I think it takes a little bit of time to assemble something that's all about detail like this. And make those creepy mouths because you'd be surprised how fun it is when you're done with these. The whole point, guys, is that we're gonna go around the school and we're gonna be sticking creepy eyes and creepy mouths onto objects and changing their feeling around the building to be a little bit more menacing and spooky. We'll avoid the little kid spots, but we'll definitely have some good times. So I'll catch you next time. Have some fun making art, and again, submit the pictures of what you've created. All right, see you guys later. Bye.